Don't you dare be sour. Clap for your world famous two-time champs and feel the power. It's a new day. Yes, it is.
I knew it. Soon as old boy cried for Jim Harbaugh, and Jim Harbaugh was just staying in the Holiday Inn across the street, and he was crying for him like he had committed a murder and was unjustly in jail. I knew it was going to turn out bad for Sherrone Moore. I just knew it. Even then, though, I was still rooting for the brother. Even though, the school is my mortal enemy, I was still rooting for the brother. Do you know Michigan, who has been around for over 100 years, 150 years, never had a black coach? Not a one. 150 years, no black coaches. No black coaches in 1,000 years. So I was rooting for the brother because you don't understand what it's like to be the first. There's an added weight of responsibility of being the first. So I was rooting for the brother as long as he wasn't playing Ohio State. But then he had to go say he didn't see color. He didn't see color. And what was so frustrating about the comment was that it wasn't like they were asking him about race relations in America or anything. It wasn't like a political question. They simply asked him. Jalen Milroe said he had an offensive coordinator, Bill O'Brien, that didn't think he could be a quarterback. And he felt that was disrespectful, and he was only saying that because he was black. They were asking Sherrone Moore as a black head coach, where a lot of people don't think there should be black head coaches. How did he feel about that? And he basically backed up Bill O'Brien, which is ridiculous, which is crazy. And I don't understand, even if you hit me with the, I don't see color. What's your white wife got to do with anything? We're talking about football. We're talking about quarterbacks. I don't see color. I got a white wife. I never get that. I don't understand the processing of that. I'm asking you a question about quarterbacking, race in regards to black quarterbacks, which we know has been a struggle throughout history in college and pros. And you're like, I got a white wife. Here she is. Check her out. I never got that. So at that point, I was kind of off on Sherrone Moore. The crying for the white man that just left you with a scandal, the bad recruiting classes, a stain on your reputation, a stain on your university, just left you there. Jim Harbaugh just left you. Did he even ask you? Did you want to come to the Chargers? He took Minter with him. Minter can't come on campus either for a while. Did he even ask you to come? He just left you with this garbage fire. And then you, to your credit, you have a couple of good recruiting classes. You get Bryce Underwood. You get all of this momentum going. You beat Ohio State straight up in your first year. But you see what happens. Color is always involved. Maybe not just color. If he was 12-0 and going to the playoffs, it probably wouldn't be a story right now. According to my Michigan people, this has been an open secret for a minute here. What was going on with the assistant? That this has not been something that has been well hidden. But when you beat Ohio State, when you beat Alabama, these type of things go away. And I think this is really the good and the bad part of social media. Is social media will get you the information quickly. Whereas you don't have to wait for the 6 p.m. Sports Center anymore. The problem is who's giving you the information, where you're getting the information from, and if the information is accurate. You know, depending on who you believe, Sherrone Moore is either Ted Bundy or he's a victim of a crime. It just depends on who you believe. Some people got him walking around like Jason Voorhees with a knife, threatening himself, threatening other women, attempted murder. So you have to be really, really careful because there's certain individuals that are just trying to make money, and they will literally say and make up anything. And then what happens is, as I always say, people care more about the pretty lie than the ugly truth. If the lie is more sensational, if it's plausible, that's going to catch fire more than the truth. And nobody has any patience anymore. So nobody sits back and say, let's wait it out. Let's see what the police report says. Let's see what Sherrone has to say. It doesn't work like that. It's like, oh no, he's walking around like Michael Myers, according to some people. And then that gets aggregated, and you see the views. A million views, 2 million views, 10 million views. Now that may only make you $30 on Elon's Twitter, but it is a business. That's why I put out that timeline last night for people that actually want to know exactly what's happening factually. And I'm not above a rumor or two, but you have to let that be known. This is unconfirmed. This is a rumor. We don't know this for sure. It may be plausible, but it hasn't been, no one has commented on it. No one has confirmed it. That way, at least you know what's factual and what's fiction and what we're waiting to find out about. What's likely is happening right now is that the cops are talking to the DA. Here's what she said happened. Here's what he said happened. Do you think this is enough to charge him with anything? They can only hold him for so long without charging him officially. And then the DA is going to have to decide, if he wants to charge him or not. If they decide to charge him, once that official charge comes out, then you will see the police report. This is what happened. This is what he did. This is what he's alleged to be done. And then Sherrone lawyers are going to come out and say, this is a lie. This is not what happened. Something like it didn't happen the way that they said they was going to happen. Now, what we do know is that Sherrone was around the facility when they had decided that they were going to fire him, and they were having meetings without him present. And I guess he got wind of that, that the end was near. And then he took off to this apartment complex. We don't know who was in the apartment complex. We don't know what happened in the apartment complex. All we know is the cops were called, and then that's when he was arrested. He's technically being detained is the proper verbiage for it while they investigate an alleged assault. When did Michigan know? How long did they know? Did they wait until after National Signing Day? You can't put it past Michigan. We know they're not, adverse to doing things shady. Apparently, it was known to a lot of people. Maybe they were waiting for a smoking gun. Maybe they were waiting for the lawyers to get involved to make sure it was ironclad so they don't have to pay him his $14, $15 million that they owe him. But they surely waited until after National Signing Day to make this move. Now these kids that are signed are kind of in a tough spot. They can still leave, but just imagine you done went through this whole process, and now the coach that got you there is gone under mysterious circumstances. Now, what are you going to do? If you're Bryce Underwood Do you just like, hey, long as my check clears, I don't care, I'm gonna stay? If you're that number one running back, do your eyes start looking at some of these other teams? It's like, I don't want to be a part of this. We have to see how it all plays out. But I want to mention one thing, and I know I'm going to get some pushback from this. I already know. I decided when I woke up in the morning that I was ready to handle that. But my question is, will Sherrone Moore get other opportunities? And the reason that I ask that is that oftentimes when a black individual makes a mistake or he gets caught up in some controversy, that's it. It's a one-time thing. It's like one and done. There's no 3 strikes and you out. It's just one and done. But when white individuals do similar or worse things, they get multiple opportunities. Lane Kiffin, for example, multiple opportunities. At least the young lady that Sherrone was allegedly dealing with was in her 30s. Some of the rumors about Lane, who is much older than Sherrone, that the ladies were a lot younger. Nothing happens. He gets $90 million. He fails up. Every time there's a controversy, he leaves, he gets a better job, more money, more prestige. They love him. They have something that's called the Lane Files, the Kiffin Files. It's quite a read. No problem, though. He was winning, so it wasn't an issue. He left. They exposed all this stuff. No problem. LSU doesn't care. Brian Kelly was involved in a situation where someone died. And that's not to mention all the weird stuff that he does on the sideline. Didn't matter. Left, got a better job. Left that job under mysterious circumstances. Still gets $50 million to leave. Brothers make a mistake, and then that's it. It's over for them. They never get another opportunity. So I'm wondering if Jim Harbaugh, who is the head of the snake, the head of the organization where all of this negative stuff has come from at Michigan, just go down the line of his assistant coaches, and I'm not even just talking about the kind of stallion stuff. There's a lot of stuff that trickles down from Jim Harbaugh. He nothing happened to him. He went to go from Michigan. He won a national championship under suspicious circumstances. He knew the hammer was coming down. He had some terrible recruiting classes coming in. He left. He got to go to LA, where it's 80 degrees outside right now, and coach Justin Herbert. And he's making almost $10 million a year. Nothing happened to him. Is Jim Harbaugh going to throw Sherrone Moore a lifeline? Like he did Jesse Minter? This man got 3 kids. I don't know how his marriage is going to be after that, but he still got 3 kids. Is Jim Harbaugh going to cry? Is he going to cry for Sherrone Moore? Is he crying right now? Is he on the phone saying, I got you? Don't you worry when all the dust settles? Maybe, not this year, but don't worry. We'll bring you in. We'll give you a job. We'll make sure you got insurance for your kids. So if they get sick, they can go to the doctor. We'll make sure you got a house. We'll make sure you got life insurance. I take care of you the same way you took care of me. I take care of you the same way you took care of me. Where's that loyalty? Where's that loyalty? And will the brothers, and yeah, I'm talking about us, the brothers, because one of the most frustrating things that I see, and I'm very upset with Sherrone Moore, but one of the things that really frustrates me is black people, we don't help our own when we in trouble. And I know the brother said he didn't see color. I know the brother is on the milk yacht. I know he likes the snow bunnies. I know he cried for the white man. But brothers, we got to help each other. We got to help each other because other races, other cultures, when their brother is struggling, they pull him up. They even allow people to, like, that. I always give this analogy, right? Barack Obama had to be as perfect as anyone could be to be the president of the United States because he was black. As perfect of an individual as someone could be, to the point where if he wore a different color suit, that became the news. After him, they found the worst white man in America and made him president because to them, that was better than having black excellence at the top. I'm going to repeat that just so you understand what I'm saying to you. President Barack Obama had to essentially be flawless to become the president of the United States. Married, kids, no affairs, no controversy, no, had to be smooth, had to be everything had to be perfect. Education had to be perfect. And still, they're like, the brother is not from here. Oh, the brother wore a tan suit. They still tried it. It didn't work. But he had to be almost as perfect as an individual can be to become the president of the United States. After him, they were so afraid of black excellence that they said, give us the worst white man in America. I think they did it to make a point. And they did it twice. I think it was to make a point. And the point was, listen, we'd rather have the worst person, white person in America than black excellence. Wouldn't say I'm upset. Takes a lot to get me upset. I just understand. Let's put it like that. I understand that when you live on this earth for X amount of years, that it's almost impossible to be perfect. It's almost impossible not to have a bad day. Some people, bad days are worse than others. Obviously, this was a really, really bad day for Sherrone Moore. But will he get another opportunity? Or will they blackball him for life because this is one and done for black people? And that's a serious question that I have. That's what I woke up thinking about. Not so much why he got fired, what's going on with the affair. Is the girl still working at the school? Is this a one-way street type of thing? Where she gets to keep her job and he doesn't get to keep his job? That's another discussion for another day. We'll see how that works out. But I woke up and that's what I was thinking. Is this brother who has clearly made a mistake? He's clearly made a mistake. Is he going to get another opportunity? Or is it one and done for him because he's black? And will that make him see color now? See, the problem without seeing color is it's just a lie on its own. Because every day in life, you see color, you see religion, you see culture, you see it. You can't ignore it. It's there. It's in front of you. That's how America is. You see it. You can't get away from it. You can't pretend that it's not happening. You cannot pretend that your mixed kids don't get certain looks when they're out. You can't pretend that when you're with your white wife, there are certain people that are thinking certain things. And let me tell you something. The person that snitched on them, let me just say they maybe didn't like that Sherrone was in the milk. They didn't like he was in the snow. That's what I'm hearing. And there's a situation where there's definitely some jealousy involved. You know, when certain individuals, salaries are getting spiked, they sitting in first class on the jet, on the plane. I mean, trust me, there's jealous. People get jealous of what's going on around them, and they will burn the MNF house down. They will burn it down. Maybe because I'm older. Maybe because I've seen a lot. Maybe because I've been through a lot. I'm gonna pray for the brother. I don't know if he was just trying to fit in. I don't know if he had some adverse situation to black people, black women, or what. I don't know. But I am gonna pray for the brother because he's still a brother. And I hate the fact that if he was a certain other complexion, he'd have another job in a week or two. Somebody would pick him up. They would. It's just simple. It's always like I said, if I was another complexion, somebody would have given me $100 million. Easy. At least 50. At least when it's true. People used to say all the time, they don't say it anymore, but they used to say it all the time. Say, well, what if there was a white sports online? And I said, if it was a white sports online and I just went, totally, if I was white and I had the success that I had and the takes that I had and the reach that I have 10 million, 20 million, $30 million. Easy. Easy. If I wanted to go against my brothers, if tomorrow I say, something, I don't like the way the brothers have been treating me. I don't like the way the sisters have been treating me. I'm going to turn into Jason Whitlock. If I said that tomorrow, within 30 days, I have $1 million deal on my table. Guaranteed. You know why? I'm not just saying it out of hyperbole because stuff like that was offered to me before. Hey, we're interested in this, we're interested in that, but maybe, some of you, the way you talk about some of the things, maybe not talk about such sort of racial. They know how to say it without saying it. You come over to our side, there's some financial gain, for it. And that's a tough thing to turn down. I got 3 kids myself. But you gotta look yourself every single day. It's like, what type of person do I want to be? What type of person do I want my daughters to see in me? What type of person do I want my wife, my mom, or whatever, and my dad to see? What people that supported me all of these years, what do I want them to see? Because that's what matters, not the bots, not the random people, not the people that don't like you. And the people who supported you, what do they see? If someone went to someone that knew me and they say, hey, tell me about Rob, what would they say? That's what's important. And I never want somebody to say, well, shit, Rob sold out. He was cool back in the day, but he sold out. Oh no, Rob got mad because of X, Y, and Z, and he did this to this person, he cut down that person. I don't ever want that about me. You can say a lot of different things about me, but you won't ever say that. You won't ever say that. So I'm gonna pray for the brother, Sherrone. I am. I'm gonna pray for him. And Jim Harbaugh, I hope he gives him a job. I know Sherrone's a lot of connections. I hope somebody gives him a gig. Now granted, if he did go slasher, which I don't know, and you don't know, if he went Michael Myers, that's totally different situation. But let's see where it all plays out. But here we go. Let me go through some of your comments, man. I just had to get that off my chest. I appreciate you guys listening to that, man, because you guys just don't understand. You really don't understand how. Well, if you're black, you understand. You don't understand how, certain things, you just don't get the same opportunities, even if you're more talented, even if you have skill. I mean, everybody makes mistakes. I mean, Trump's an actual criminal. I mean, he has stuff, he's supposed to be in jail. He's the president of the United States. We just don't have that capacity to fail up. And that's a really, really, really frustrating thing. Very, very, very frustrating thing. Let me go through some of your comments, though. I want to go through some of your comments. There's a lot here. So I'm at a loss for words. You go from you admission to jail. Once again, he's a brother, and cops, you see color. The brother, white woman calls the cops, black dude. You can go from there. You kind of know what's going on from there. Yeah, it's definitely a popcorn. And here's the thing, it's not over. There's probably a lot more meat to the bone that's going to come out. Um, but I will say this, at least give Sherrone his opportunity to tell his side of the story. Thank you, thank you. I this is what I do. This I do it better than most. And I'm not gonna BS you. I'm not gonna give you, I'm not gonna be all stale with it. I give you a little extra, little hot sauce, with it. But I'm gonna give you, the truth about it. Bo still knows everything. I got you. uh, something that needs to be clarified. I'm pretty sure it's a Ime DACA type of situation. The fact that she was an underling, and he was her boss, even if it was consensual, even if they, both knew what they were doing. That whole boss underling thing but maybe that's what he's going to try to uh, talk about. When he tries to get his money back, it's like, hey, we wasn't doing anything wrong. There's a bunch of people on campus that have relationships with professors and TAs and all this other stuff. We'll see what's going on. What's up, my brother? The strong talk. I don't know if I was DeBoer, I would want to come into this right now. I mean, he's good. Alabama's in the playoff. I don't know. I think he's fine. It is a good job, like in the sense of it's a premier university. Obviously, they have money, but right now it's a cluster. And my guy, Mr. Noise, says, I think he will never get another head coaching position because this rose to a criminal situation, and we don't get those chances. But he will coach again somewhere as an assistant. Here's the thing, even if it was a lower level, because that's normally what happens, right? There's a little controversy or whatever. They go down to a lower level school, build themselves back up, and then come back to a major level. I just think we need to wait and see exactly what's going. He might not even get charged, and if he doesn't get charged, I think Jim Harbaugh should give him a job. I honestly believe that because of what the brother did for him. Says what we got here. All joking aside, this being made into a public spectacle is clearly racially motivated. I hate racially double standards by the male sunburned people. Like I said, if this was Brian Kelly, this was Lane Kiffin, it probably is handled differently. I reported that the fact that once they decided that they were going to fire him, they didn't. There was no like. There was no like. It was just you're gone. Like get out. It was like getting fired at the call center. You would think a situation like this, there would be some meetings, some discussion, some back and forth. Maybe you come up with like a resolution where he resigns. You give him some of his money. Everybody walks away looking nice. That's normally what happens with the other side, right? It's normally like not like we're having secret meetings and we lock in the door and you can't get in. That to me was a little suspect. And I doubt if that was Jim Harbaugh that would happen that way. Also, all the stuff about pregnancy and abortions and all this stuff, you don't know if any of that is true. That's just a lot of people are throwing a lot of stuff on the wall and seeing what sticks. Uh, that stuff like that has not been confirmed. All this stuff about the plan B and all this stuff. The DoorDash one is definitely fake. Just a lot of stuff that's just not real. So take everything with a grain of salt. Vet who's giving you the information. Look at the profile. You'll find out if you should take it seriously or not. Contract specifically says he cannot have inappropriate relationships with other staff members. Well, We haven't seen the contract. I mean, maybe that's in the contract. Maybe it's loosely in the contract. I find it hard to believe if it was that specific that he would just do it. Like I mean, if it said it like the way you have it written here, maybe they have like a moral clause. That's what normally what is a morality clause. The reason why is because, especially within organizations, or like let's say ESPN, right? They have a couple of people that work together that got married. You know what I mean? Like so, like you said, I guess it depends specifically what's in his contract. I think let's wait until what Sherrone's lawyer or what he has to say about that before we say that's 100% sure. Because right now we only know the what Michigan is saying. So as a black man, you have to know you don't you can't. It's just you can't. It's you have to be perfect, and in life it's difficult to be perfect all the time when you're in the public. It's just very very difficult for anyone, in any business, especially a front facing public business, entertainment, sports, music. It's just life doesn't allow you to make every right decision, and there should be some grace, for that. And there's a lot of grace for white men. I mean, there's a ton of grace, for that. You look at somebody like Robert Downey Jr. There's a ton of grace, and I'm not saying that someone like Robert Downey Jr. shouldn't get it. He should, because people change and people get better. But you would want that for all races, not just one. Say, will Sherrone see color now? It's a question. Well, I guess it depends on what he gets charged with. I think if you get charged with that assault and you feel like you didn't do anything, and a white woman that you allegedly had been seeing is the one that called the cops on you, yeah, that's a tough one right there. This will open his eyes till I don't see color of viewpoint. Maybe some people, even after all that stuff, still feels that way. Let's see when he calls Jim Harbaugh. He says, "What's up, coach?" Or he calls it and it just rings. Or when the text just go to red. Then he'll know. Here's the thing about life. I can tell you guys this, and I'm sure most of you know this. You know who your friends are when adversity hits. That's when you find out who really cares about you. Not when everything is good, not when everything is great. When adversity hits, who runs, who distances themselves, who talks shit about you, even though you helped them, and who stays strong. That's when you find. And then when you find that out, that's who you keep close and push everybody else away. Keep that circle close. That's when Sherrone Moore right now, and I'm sure he has a group of friends, family, coaches, whatever. He has going to find out who is with him and who's not. He's going to find out who's by his side and who's not. And when he figures that out, he needs to count them up. And a lot of times, it's not even the amount of fingers on your hand. He needs to count them up and keep that circle close. Because, man, I tell you, you'll be surprised who you think is your friend, and then adversity hits. And then you find out they was probably the ones that was stabbing you in the back. So what was illegal about it? Well, I don't think nothing was like criminal about the relationship. It's just according to Michigan that it was inappropriate. Now, I like I said, I think they're gonna say it's inappropriate because she worked under him. Like that's bad wording, but specifically, he was her boss, and therefore, I guess that can't happen. Like, granted, all these white old men at Michigan have probably been doing a lot worse, but that's another discussion for another day. They set that man up a week after signing day. It is odd because he was doing press conferences and he didn't look like somebody that was concerned about anything. So I don't know what he was told or what he thought was going on or what he didn't think was going on. His reaction to it, the abruptness of it, and then the arrest would lead you to believe he had no idea what was happening and panicked. And when you panic, when something happens, you normally do stupid stuff. The best thing you can do when something bad happens is nothing. Just sit down and don't do anything. Don't say anything. Don't do anything. Let it come out. Talk to a lawyer. Talk to the crisis manager or whatever, and do that. The one thing that you don't want to do is start running around campus and not thinking straight. So that's kind of what ended up getting him. Doesn't really surprise me. We're calling the University of Mississippi the plantations oldest wife. I said, I mean, some of that stuff, like I don't know how much of that Lane Kiffin stuff was true, but even if 10%, 15% was true, it sounded worse than what Sherrone is being accused of. But then again, he had them in the playoffs. He has a reputation. Um, he's white. He can get away with that stuff. That's it is. The real talk, brother. Yeah, especially young brothers and sisters out there. I wish I can go back and talk to my young self. Be like, look, keep that circle tight. Like it's just not worth it. You want to be friends with everybody. Everybody's telling you how great you are. You got to keep that circle tight. You cannot just talk to everybody any which way, even in casual conversations, because they will flip on you. So if you're young right now, you're in your 20s and you're starting your life in whatever business or whatever world where I cannot stress to you enough. Don't talk. Keep your circle tight. And think about everything that you say before it comes out of your mouth, before you type it on your phone. Everything has a digital footprint. Please, just especially the brothers. The brothers don't have, the sisters have a little grace, not a lot. The brothers have no grace. We get zero grace. We're, on the total poll, people think we're the worst people in the world. Black men are seen as the worst individuals, especially in America, in the world, in America. So we have no grace. We have no wiggle room. You really got to lock in, especially in 2025. You just got to lock in. And I wish I can go on a tour, HBCUs, and just talk to the brothers or just regular colleges and talk to the brothers and be like, listen, brothers, I know you guys are out here in your 20 and you think you know everything. And you just lock it in. Man, I can't tell you how passionate I am about it. It's a setup. Marcus Bailey says he's dumb as hell for it. Might as well go coach at HBCU. I mean, that white woman, assuming that she is who they say she is, she's gonna try to save herself. It's as simple as that. And I mean, I think that's pretty clear. She's not gonna go down on the shit with him. She's singing right now. She's singing like Aretha Franklin right now in the AD's office, the dean's office. She's singing. She's singing. She's singing. DA brought her in. She's singing like Mariah Carey, and not the "We Belong Together" Mariah Carey. That's tough, man. Be careful about who you lay down with. He alienated himself from potential black support when he made that "Don't See Color" comment, and he did for a lot of people. I'm one of the few that has taken a deep breath and trying to do my best, to understand. Let's say, because I know how it is for brothers, and I don't know him, but he can't be no worse than Urban Meyer. And they're putting Urban Meyer in the College Football Hall of Fame. They caught Urban Meyer 4K filling up some chick. And Urban Meyer's like 70 years old. Urban Meyer did a lot of shady stuff at Ohio State. Very similar to Jim Harbaugh. Not like the cheating on the field stuff, but off the field. Urban Meyer's not a great person. And they're about to put him in the College Football Hall of Fame, and Sherrone Moore may never get another job again. That stuff like that is why I'm like, I know what he said, my brothers. I know. But let's try to help him out a little bit. Maybe he can see the light. So thanks for not going to Stephen A. Look, man. I'm getting old. Well, I am old. It ain't even no getting to it. And I think when you get old, maybe you get a little soft. I don't know. It's just I seen so many brothers get screwed. Screwed by by not just the white man, screwed by our own people, screwed by the media, and it just bothers me. I don't want to see another brother go through that. And I hope his mental health. I mean, I hope he literally wasn't trying to do anything to himself. And look, if you make a mistake, it's not so much that trying to excuse the mistake. I mean, if it was in his contract not to do it, he shouldn't have did it. He's married with 3 kids. If you get, I would say, if you get married, don't get married unless you want to be with that person. You know what I mean? Because it makes no sense to the cheating and all of that stuff. Just don't get married. So that type of stuff, like the personal stuff, it's like, look, I understand, maybe, but like you see it, other people do it of a different complexion, and there's no repercussions. They just do whatever the hell they want, say whatever the hell they want outside, do all the type of stuff, get arrested, say all type of stuff, have all type of accusations, and all they do is just keep making money. They keep getting bigger jobs. They get put on Fox Sports. People buy their sites. People give them extra opportunities. It's almost like the worse person they are, the more that they get. And as a black man, I just can't shit on another black man when I know that if he was white, they wouldn't have did him like this. So I mean, that's just me. Maybe people people have their own opinion, but that's how I feel about it. Some folks think they have untouchable ground. Flip side, some folks will still see opportunities to bring someone down. Black people in successful positions are always vulnerable. You don't know. Listen, it's funny. You speak about Stephen A. Smith. So many people, and it's a little disturbing to me how much I hear people want to take him down. They literally want to take him down. Now he's smart. I know he keeps his circle tight. He don't really do too much. You won't see him out doing the crazy stuff because he's gotten older and he understands now. But when you're a black person in a position of power, or you have some success, just know they're hovering. They just waiting on you to trip. As soon as you trip, they're gonna be right there on your ass. Just understand that if you got a little bit of motion, just a little bit, somebody's willing to try to take you down. Shador is a prime example of the Barack. Yeah, I mean, like I said, Jackson Dart and Shador Sanders are not that much different at all. Or boy, Diego Pavaya, or Fernando Mendoza. They're good college quarterbacks that need some time to learn the thing. And it's just Shador has motion. And that angers people for some reason that he's popular. It's like funny, it's on the flip side of that, on another situation, it's almost like Caitlin Clark. It's like when you have it, or Angel Reese, if you got it, you just got it. No matter what you do on the court, you just have it. He has it. She had it. They had it. You know who has it. You know when they walk in and say, okay, that girl has it. It don't have nothing to do with on the field, on the court. They just have it. And look, they keep trying to bait Shador into saying something crazy. But he won't do it because he's smart. He knows what they're doing. They're baiting him. Now, I know he's in jail. He's on a 48-hour hold. They can hold him for 48 hours until they decide if they're going to charge him or not. Right. The whole, I guess the best way to explain it is like this. You know how if you get fired from like your regular job, you get unemployment, or if you quit, you don't get unemployment because they say you voluntarily left. It's a little bit like that, and they're basically saying that we fired him with the reason. So since we fired him with a reason, he doesn't get unemployment, he doesn't get his money. And we just fire you because we're laying off people or we whatever it may be. But like if you punch your manager, they're gonna be like, we're not gonna give you unemployment. Because you violated our stuff and all this. So they're saying he did something in violation of his contract, and therefore we're not gonna think. So if they just fired him because they said he's gonna say they fired him for other reasons, I can guarantee you that they're gonna blame Harbaugh, whatever. He's gonna try to say it's other reasons. Right now, LSU is wishing they had thought of honey trap. But here's the thing: nobody wants to sleep with Brian Kelly. Hey, Marcus Freeman, watch your back, brother. Marcus Freeman, watch your back. Listen, the buddies, watch your back. They got a whole thing on TikTok about how fine Marcus Freeman is. I know my wife be watching them. Watch your back, brother. Watch your back. More going from one big house to another. That it's quite a turn of events. I will say that it was quite a turn of events. I go blue. Well, I mean, yeah, I don't know what to tell you about that. Needed this live like Pookie needed crack. Yeah, I debated if I wanted to do it. I really did, but I felt like people needed to understand certain things, and I really don't care. We are making it about race. The reason people make things about race is because things are about race. You can't just act like nothing is about race. And and I know that things would be differently if this was Jim Harbaugh. Brother was gifted this position, inherited one of the premier jobs. Yeah, I mean, that's a fact. I mean, you can't excuse it. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying just brush it aside or anything. I just hope that he gets another opportunity, learns from his mistake. Hopefully, everything with his family gets worked out. His kids got to see all of this. That's the tough part. If you have kids and if you have spouses and significant others, you know how that can go if you get fired from a job or whatever it may be. So I just hope brother takes a couple of steps back, and then I hope all the people that he helped, because he's definitely helped other people, don't just abandon him. Yeah, I hope they just don't abandon them, because they will. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's true. Like as far as him wanting to kill himself and all of that stuff, y- y- you know, like I said, you got to watch out for the people that are just putting stuff out there. Like that's not in any official police report. That's not in any official on any official web. That's not on ESPN. Hell, TMZ would tell you if something like that was maybe true. If it is true, I think maybe it was just a react. It just happens all so fast. Then you just react, and hopefully he's calmed down, and that's why they're holding him and everything. And then they pile on, to him. So you don't want to pile on, at this point. I mean, I think you want to get the facts, and you want to hear his side of the story too. Maybe he just admits it. Maybe he makes a mistake. If he says he's sorry, look, a lot of white people have said they're sorry, and people are like, okay, fine, here's your new job. Here's your new job. Yeah, Marcus Freeman do needs to watch his back. I'm not joking when I say that. Handsome guy, Notre Dame, where there's definitely some people out there, no matter how many games he wins, are not comfortable with a black coach at Notre Dame. Married guy with kids. Trust me, if he needs to do that thing where if anybody 10 feet, give me 3 feet. I'm not joking about that. Do trust me, Mark? I'm pretty sure he knows. He seems like a smart guy. He went to Ohio State, but that brother needs to just watch his back. I remember when he lost his first 3 games, and when he lost to Northern Illinois last year. They love him now, but trust me, that much rope, that much rope. Yeah, he should have called somebody. Uh, that's what happened when you lost in the win, and there's nobody out there, nobody got your back. You end up doing stupid stuff. Alleged assault, not an assault. They're investigating. The call was for an alleged assault, and they're investigating the assault. They have not decided at the moment if they are going to actually charge him with charges. At least at the time of me, I just went. I just went and looked right here. Look, firing Coach Sherrone Moore in custody. No decision has been made on the charges. And let me just read this to you guys. What is it? The Washington County prosecutor told ESPN that it does not expect a decision Thursday on whether to file criminal charges against Michigan, former Michigan coach Sherrone Moore. He's still in custody right now. So basically, what ends up happening is, I mean, it varies in different, I guess, cities and states, but they can hold you for a period of time while they investigate, and then they have to either charge you, then let you go. They can't do both. They can't indefinitely hold you. I would imagine in most places like a 48-hour hold. So the clock started at probably 4 o'clock yesterday. So by 4 o'clock on Friday, Bo still knows they either have to charge him or they have to let him go. So because they have this 48 hours, here's what's happening. And I'm just this is from me watching way too much Forensic Files and all that stuff like that. When they take the whole 48 hours, two things can be going on. One, they don't have a lot of evidence and they're trying to gather it up more. They're trying to, you know, they're trying to figure out exactly what's going on. They're talking to other people. They're trying to see if there's a pattern. They really are trying to nail them to the ground. Or they're holding for 48 hours and the main witness is probably, waffling a bit. Either they're trying to convince her or she's saying that she didn't mean it, or you know what I mean. And they're like, "Well, we're gonna give you 48 hours to think about it." Basically, in a situation where I believe, this was a woman. We don't know which woman it was. It's just a woman. We know it's a woman, or it could have been somebody else or whoever. If they don't cooperate, they're probably gonna have to let them go. So it's probably a situation now where the individual is trying to decide if they, because if they charge them, the person that makes, they probably, if it goes to trial or whatever, something they have to, testify and the name is going to be out there in public. If they don't charge them, you may never know exactly what happens and maybe the name is not out there. So it's a critical time right now where they're trying to decide exactly what they're going to do. Now, they don't need a victim to cooperate to charge somebody if they feel like they have evidence and everything. If he was on a psych hold, I think he would be. Oh, I'm sorry, man. I would think he'd be at a different facility. I don't know if they would hold him in county jail. Maybe. Normally, if it's a psych hold, they send you, like to the hospital. Not just put you in the county jail because, obviously in jail you can still hurt yourself. So they normally send you to somewhere because think about it. If you're in county, you can run into the bars, you can hit your head on the wall. There's a lot of ways you can hurt yourself. You can hang yourself with your bed sheet in the county jail. He's not at like the federal prison where they can put him in solitary or something like that. He's in the county jail where it's probably not that many. It looks like a small county jail out in Ann Arbor. So it's probably like 2 cells. So he could clearly hurt himself in jail if it was a psych hold. And they haven't said it was a psych hold. So I'm thinking it's a hold for them to investigate, but we'll know by tomorrow. I mean, they can't hold him, like I said, they can't hold him indefinitely. And I'm sure his lawyer right now is trying to get him out of there. All right, guys. I went much longer than I had actually planned to, but I appreciate you guys coming on. Hopefully that gives you some insight into what's going on with Sherrone Moore, what's going to go on with Sherrone Moore, what the future may hold with him. I appreciate all your comments, all your concerns, your thoughts, your feelings. Once again, I say this to my brothers, especially my young brothers out there. You guys are the future. They don't want you to succeed. They don't want you to shine. They don't want you to elevate. So be careful. Be careful. Keep your pants on. Circle tight. Watch what you say. Watch who you be around. Cause like someone told me a while back, say sometimes you can be so caught up on who's gonna stab you in the back, you're not looking at the person right in front of you with the knife.